Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the quarterfinals here in London, where it's Game 2 between the LMS's AHQ and Korea's SKTelecom, who are now up 1-0. We got to look at the mid lane because we talked about it before the game started. The CS differential here was 31 at 10 minutes. That is what Westor averaged down at 20 minutes coming into this game. So already we've doubled that CS differential, and he wasn't roaming in that time.
Yeah, and I also really like the Lulu pick here. I think that that is a big key in this matchup for FLICKR against Westor, because not only does it pressure him and stop him from roaming, which we saw early on, Lulu stylistically is fantastic against the champion pool that Westor has, all these assassins. And not only is it great against those champions, it's really good for SKT. They have compositions that empower Bang, and it's not taking anything away from FLICKR at the same time.
Yeah, and I also want to touch on how smart FLICKR was in taking the Ignite with the Elise, because immediately, we talk about this a lot, I know Crumbs loves it. As soon as you pick Elise, you have a winning lane. Lulu's already a lane bully, the Ignite just sets it up perfectly.
And AHQ had a lot of hope this game. Mountain was in the right place at the right time twice. He could have had the jump on top lane, and he could have had the jump on the defending bot lane, but he was just seconds behind. His smite game, not on point. You know, he could have smited the Wolves, as we mentioned, to defend against the tower dive in the bot lane, and just a bit of a botched gank in the top side twice could have really snowballed the game in Ziv's favor. But again, I hope that the coaching staff looks at him and just says, look, it might have felt like you messed up, but you were at the right place, right time. Just, you know, take a breather in, try to get there a little bit faster into the place that you want to be, because as Clement has pointed out, Mountain tends to be in a lot of good pathing, and Bengi just happened to out-rotate him with the 2v1.
Yeah, the way that impacted the map, though, was really interesting, because you have this lane matchup that's really volatile between Fiora and Darius. Both snowball very hard. And the reason that I actually like Fiora in it is Darius relies so much on an execute to take you down, and Fiora has a slow and then the dash away. So she can get in, trade relatively well. She's very good with gankers and with Lulu on the team. And it's also very hard for Darius to kill you. Very easy for Darius to bully you. Don't get me wrong, he's going to chunk you like 10 out of 10 times. But to actually get that last hit is really hard. And you can see that Ziv at times was getting frustrated. There was a couple of flashes where he was going for apprehends, even though he had the E slow on him, wasn't in range. And there's moments like that in the game where you're like, I am so close to killing Myron. If I had got that kill, it would have been great. And then you like hit tab and it's like, he's up 52 CS. Like, how did he just do that? This guy is just so good at picking up farm around the map. And I think that he actually got in Ziv's head that game, because you see a couple of frustrating TPs, couple of frustrating flashes. Ziv, normally this very controlled player, looked like he was getting like a little bit rattled by the Fiora pick up there.
I want to hop back to Zyrene because I saw you wanted to get in at the end of the Mountain point.
Thank you. I feel like this was a game of inches, where Mountain was giving up a couple inches every now and then. He was doing Krugs, he burrows over the wall and starts backing because he's setting up his tunnel routes, and then he decides, you know what, I'm actually going to gank top. 2 seconds before he could tunnel. And then there's another time, didn't smite Raptors to get it clear, didn't smite Wolves. These are very, very tiny mechanical things that if it just gets cleaned up, he's going to have an extra foot in the game, and that's what's going to give him a lead if they come into it. And that's the thing, you can't let that get to you, because you were so close. It's just 1 or 2 tiny things, clean it up, turn it on, and that's a different game from AHQ.
We'll see if they can clean things up. The teams are just about ready to head into Champions Select, and as we go, Westor says that FLICKR will smother his opponent in lane without leaving him a way to stop.
FLICKR优点的话是他对线很激进，而且他不按照常理出牌。那你会不知道他用什么英雄来对付你。他可能他的核心思想是线上打爆你，对，让你不能做其他事，然后再支援他其他队友。缺点的话，目前是看不太出来。
And we saw just how difficult it was for Westor in lane against that Lulu. Touched on a little bit with the Elise combination as well as that Ignite, the unseen threat of the Ignite. Crepo helping FLICKR get that.
I mean, you don't know. It might just be the unseen threat of FLICKR being in your lane overall. But that's something, I just think it's an interesting topic. So many things we don't see. We see plays not being made for certain reasons, whether it's instead of a teleport. Because we see the wards on the map and be like, oh, they don't have any deep wards, they can't teleport. SKT obviously don't know that. So maybe that's why they hold back, play a little more pressure somewhere else.
But they always had that option. You know, Spawn touched on it, what we touched on at the beginning of that game, which is that is the kill pressure is there no matter what. So you always have that chance, and they weren't punished for running a single teleport.
All right, AHQ continuing Esports tradition by banning Azir. They're going for the longest ban streak of a single champion.
Mordekaiser would like to catch up, and Gangplank banned again. So out of the last 17 games, 16 of them have had GP and Mord now banned on the red side. SKT broke that trend by banning it blue previously, but what will their last ban be?
Yeah, just poor Westdoor, man. Doesn't like playing Azir, bans it all the time, then it gets nerfed, he's like, okay, that's off the list. And then right before World, people start playing it again.
So trying to set up for an Elise first pick here. The question is, will SKTelecom let them have it? Or are you going to ban Elise and try and force some potentially deeper jungle pools?
Well, Jinx and Fizz are both up, both of which were banned on blue side in the previous game. Their final ban will interestingly be the Jinx.
Yeah, this gives Bang a Kalista if he wants to as a trade. So now AHQ Esports Cup need to see what do we value more, aggressive AD carry, aggressive jungler. It will be the Elise. I think it's the smart choice overall. But it doesn't really put Bengi in any compromising positions. There's plenty of champions he can play.
Yeah, taking that Gragas too, you come in with that initiation, you could break up the fight, which sets up Kalista very, very nicely, just to get a target in that backline, continue to hop around and get the Ren damage in, and it will be the Kalista for Bang.
Yeah, the problem is, do you take Alistar away from Wolf? Not really, because it doesn't lane that well into a Kalista. It's like a shotgun lane. You need to kill her in one blow or you're done for. So in that sense, we may just see Albus pick Thresh again, and I like this Thresh, honestly. Combined with Elise, there's a lot of outplay potential.
His death sentences were particularly good. Talking about Bang, undefeated on Kalista, still
11-0 in professional play to this point in his competitive history, but the Tristana's up, and a lot of people like that pick into the Kalista.
I just love this lane. If you run Ignite on support, Tristana, Thresh, you need to flash aggressively at one point with Thresh to really win that matchup, but you can tear down a Kalista and just out-trade her, because especially since the nerfs, on every auto attack except maybe the first two, Tristana just wins the trade. The only way Kalista wins the trade is an auto Q proc with E on a minion to reset then.
And coming into this, it's not just that matchup. Obviously, SKTelecom knows they picked into this matchup in the last game, favoring it themselves, but it's about that dragon control, that objective that SKT really, really likes to play around. And the Tahm Kench.
And this solves all your problems if you get all in at one point, if you get that mark from Tristana. I believe the Tristana AoE doesn't actually do damage to the Kalista in Tahm Kench. I believe it works like that. People have different opinions, so I will actually track it right here. But in my games, when I played against Tahm Kench, I didn't do any damage as Tristana.
Coming in, also the Rise being hovered right now, and that is going to be a flex pick for SKTelecom. So a deceptive draft on the red side. It was banned out by AHQ in the first game of this series.
Hey, I read Reddit. Tahm Kench is also a flex pick if FLICKR wants to run an AP middle.
Also jungle. Bengi's been playing it on a US solo queue in that jungling role, so we don't know where it's going yet.
Deficio is a firm believer in Tahm Kench jungle. I'm putting words in his mouth. I'll let him explain it next time he's on air. But yes, we're expecting that Tahm Kench to be support for SKT.
And the last times FLICKR played Rise, he kind of got into a bit of a troublesome situation that he was the one first being focused and he couldn't deal as much damage as his teammates because he was still scaling up. That was like the only negative part about FLICKR, where he draws all the attention and then dies and his team aces them. Tahm Kench now solves that one problem he has, and if it ever gets to late game, he will just blow people up because he's a fantastic laner, especially in terms of positioning with that Rise. He's not afraid to pop his ulti to go aggressive past the minion wave and just start zoning people.
Yeah, and we've seen the early kills against Twisted Fate. I mean, it's going to be that coming in from Westdoor. This is a match that FLICKR played very, very well against Pawn.
I still think it's a good matchup for TF because if you don't really misplay, you can always stop the Rise from really chaining you over and over with a gold card. The only breaking point is whenever you throw a blue card for mana or you just throw a card on the minion, that's when Rise can flash. So look for those little timing windows right after you pick a card, you use it on the minion. That's when FLICKR wants to flash in. That's how he got that solo kill against Pawn too. So in that sense, it's a skill matchup, but obviously Westdoor can teleport to different lanes and see if he can help his teammates.
And for Westdoor, he's currently 2-0 at the World Championships on Twisted Fate. Played in the group stage to great success. A little bit of time left on the countdown here for Marin. He's currently looking at Gnar, but they swapped to Renekton at the last second. He dumpstered Darius in the group stage on that champion.
I like the pick because it's an earlier top laner, an early game top laner, but you have a late game scaling mid laner, so you don't need any more late game security blankets. You just need something to get you to the early game, and we've seen what he can do on our Renekton.
And also, this combination of Gragas with Renekton, with Ryze, you have a lot of kill pressure in the lane phase, a lot of single target crowd control. If Bengi throws in an ult in the late game, it's going to bounce people into SKT, Rune Prison, or the Renekton W, and that's going to be it. The single target damage is absolutely crazy. You can really see for SKT how these team fights are going to go. AHQ, they've got the Tristana for fast pushing, but again, another pick composition. They want to skirmish again.
AHQ gonna need to get a lot of helping hands in the early game, considering the strength of those side lanes, and also considering how well Marin has already demonstrated a mastery of that Renekton into Darius matchup.
Yeah, and Wolf running the exhaust here, really good against Tristana because you can just wait until the marks on 3 auto attacks left from completion. Lost 3 auto attacks, deal less damage, then it explodes, and suddenly your entire all-in gets ruined.
I love seeing the Ryze again here too. This is an insurance policy. This is the 3rd game that FLICKR will be playing Ryze here at this World Championship. You noted that yes, they have the early game top laner, and so they have a very smooth power curve, and FLICKR can just take over the game should it go to 40 minutes.
Yep, heading into the next game right here. Tweet at LO Esports if you think AHQ is going to win, hashtag AHQ. And if you like us, think SKT is going to take it, hashtag SKT win.
Well, we'll find out shortly. We're loading up onto the Rift for game 2 of this best of 5. SKT with an early advantage out the gates. And they've got themselves an early lane strength in Marin's top lane. On and Albus, can you make up the deficit against Bang and Wolf?
You know, I'm a bit intrigued to see Wolf play the Tahm Kench here because it's not something he's really shown before. Coming in, he didn't play it in the group stage, he didn't play it in Korea. So the mind games are going to be real coming into the semifinal match if SKT does go through, but they have at least started to show something else.
It also just gives you an extra practice game. It's kind of hard to call a quarterfinal here a practice game, but you want some competitive experience because scrims versus online obviously is offline rather is definitely a different environment. I just think every support going on from quarters into semis should master the Tahm Kench because that pick could be big and potentially in the finals.
Well, we're seeing it grow as the World Championships are continuing to play on.
That's disgusting.
I think it's fascinating, personally.
SKT and AHQ with another defensive start. This time around, Ahn is moving up to the top lane. Actually, again, they started the lane swap last time. SKT caught a little unawares. And it seems like we're going to have another lane swap set up to try to, I imagine, avoid that Darius-Renekton matchup.
I'm a bit surprised that AHQ has prioritized that Darius just because we've seen so many lane counters from SKTelecom against it. They've shown a variety of picks. They've been able to deal with it probably better than any other team so far. And Marin, he's a hell of a Renekton player, and he always has been. So it's a very big comfort pick for him.
Right. Bang started E there. That's interesting. Usually people start W on the killer stat. Did get changed so you can get less passive stacks there. Also the E for just maybe some easier push if he was expecting a 2v2.
And early level 2 there to Albus. Is he going to roam to do the typical versus SKT strat of gank mid lane?
There is a ward, and we saw some looping, so HQ is aware of that ward that SKT plays, so that's why Albus is changing his pathing here.
Yeah, you can see the delayed ward coming in, the trinket ward from FLICKR, just to make sure that they were protected on that side in case anything was going to come through. So interesting early ward pattern here, and that's going to keep the Ryze nice and safe against any level 2 gank shenanigans.
Has managed to save, well, stay alive. It will time out very, very shortly.
Yeah, that's why Albus is waiting.
Yeah, he's going to die. Did not have vision of the area, but look at the mid lane. Westo lost a very early trade against FLICKR. He's already burned through his consumables. And FLICKR does have that HP advantage and the wave pushing against him. So very comfortable and safe on the scaling mid laner.
And I think from watching FLICKR play, that is one thing that separates him from a lot of other mid laners, and many pros have come out and said it when they played against him. He challenges almost every CS you take. Whether it's by attacking you or simply moving in your general direction, having the pressure. It's like a million eyes are watching you CS, and FLICKR is in your face. And if you mess it up, not only is he going to laugh at you for missing that CS, he'll punish you with an auto attack. So it's incredibly hard to farm into FLICKR overall.
especially when you have to be this far forward. And Bengi now going to wrap around. He will be seen by the Trinket Ward.
At least coming in from left side though. Westor, he's making it obvious that he has backup though.
Yeah, not playing scared at all. I think SKT
FLICKR
take the bait.
So Bengi's not going to go for the gank. Instead, it's going to wrap around to the bottom half of the jungle. On Albus, as well as Ziv, we're pushing up the top tower. That should fall shortly, as SKT will take down the bottom outer turret. And you can see statistics on a Twisted Fate as well as that rise.
Well, it's one of Westor's legendary champions, right? He's been known for playing TF for years and years and years in the Taiwanese he's seen. So it's something that he's going to be very comfortable with, but he has to make it work early here because they're going to need a large gold lead to deal with FLICKR's rise. Come the late game, he is running the teleport this time. He will be a formidable split pusher.
Yeah, and this time so we see both towers go down here, waves being bounced, but you see Marin doing the smart thing. At the start, when these waves started being bounced after T1 died, people did an endless freeze, but they actually met too much resistance from the lanes coming back into defense. So what Marin's doing right now, he knows there are people coming, likely to be on and Albus. So he actually pushed in the wave a little bit so he doesn't deny himself any potential CS. And you could see that reflected in the CS score right now as well. He's at 14, whereas Ziv immediately based to pick up that massive wave in the top lane. Bengi, however, is here for round 2.
Body slam is not going to connect. Bengi did not follow it with a flash of his own and gets Westor's.
Yeah, but that is huge because FLICKR is playing very close to that tier 2, and Westor must have a flash in order to really CS in that particular situation. And now we see some movement up into the top side.
That's exactly what we were talking about. That's why you push that lane back earlier, because otherwise that massive wave stacks and that freeze actually becomes a massive push against you, and you actually lose all that farm. Look at it, Marin doubling the CS already from Ziv, and Ziv's tower just going down here with the help of those minions.
On is going to push down on the bottom, so they may be able to trade. Mountain and Albus going to arrive a little late. Westor also teleported to the mid lane, so he doesn't have that available if a play were to break out. And Marin, has he maybe taken the bait here? Not enough minions to fight. Albus, Ziv, Mountain.
It's a party.
They want a new pair of shoes, and it's crocodile skin, the make they want. Slice and Dice is available for Marin. Gonna get the stun onto Arn, and slices and dices away. Arn will follow with the rocket jump. FLICKR teleports in, kills Ziv on the back line, and Marin escapes.
You can't make that mistake right there. FLICKR hadn't even been back to shop yet. He had no items, so that was a very good dive situation. But Marin plays the slice and dice through the lane, and Ziv has nowhere else to go. He has to run through that turret, and FLICKR just locks him down. With no minion wave under there, he's gonna take a lot of hits.
That was one of the sickest plays I've seen. Marin coming back when I have to clear that wave. Hang on, let's see if he survives so we can actually talk about how sick that was overall.
Death Sentence connects, the Flay will not. Repel comes down and Mountain's in trouble. FLICKR, no mana though, which means AHQ get away with their lives for now.
Yeah, Marin, he denies the dive by keeping the wave outside of the turret. Then he waits there, he doesn't path into the river, just says, okay, you want to come? Walk to the tower. FLICKR collapses, kills somebody, but then Marin, you can slice and dice through somebody, but he stood at the very edge where his slice, his initial first dash would actually just not proc the dice, but he just procced a tiny bit of area of an enemy champion right there to proc the double slice and dice. That was a phenomenal play, just getting out of there, maximizing the distance. And
oh, the Sentinel, I don't think it's going to see them. The Death Sentence does! Bang gets caught by a cocoon, and the Flay holds Marin in place. Arn is going low. Marin will not be able to get the kill. It's a double for Bengi. Albus tanks a few turret shots, but should get away alive.
you don't rely on Sentinels. You never do. Those things don't see anything. They're broken. They walk in. It's like they're blind. You can call them blind monks. You don't do that.
Not living up to their name then.
No.
So to be fair, twice now Bang has been caught by a death sentence from the bush. And Albus has been standing in, yes, last game and this game, but it results in 2 deaths and a tower for AHQ and a swing in the gold lead.
Yeah, this is exactly why you don't do that. I mean,
whoop, saw that one coming from a mile away.
And then, you know, by the way, if you're an AD carry, you know that there's a chance to be like, I mean, come on, how likely is it that they're still in this rush? I really want some CS. Everybody talks about FLICKR and Marin farming so well.
A bit of a push up here, and there's a stun onto Ziv. Ziv turns around for a moment, but Bengi's here.
The body slam connects. Ziv's going low, gets a decimate heal, and flashes forward, finds the lantern. Albus looks for the death sentence, but will not find it. Scores a 3-pointer between the posts. And Minion Wave continues to get shoved in, but flash burn for Ziv.
We also have to look at what's going on in the mid lane here. FLICKR's TP is down, so is Westor's, but his ult is up. You can see that as they start to make that play, FLICKR begins to push very aggressively into that mid lane to prevent the TP from actually coming through and reinforcements on the top side.
Wolf is... Who's in trouble here, actually? It's Mountain, and a quiet taste. Wolf is going to spit him back out. The Repel's got nowhere to go, but Westor wants to help. Cocoon and Goldcard have landed. Bang, flashes forward, now has double buffs. Goldcard will hold him in place for a little while longer, but Bang will find two. Will not be able to get shut down. Kill credit to Wolf with the regurgitate. And SKT just regain control.
Yeah, and if you pick TF into a late game scaling matchup, you need to make that first ultimate count. You need to get a kill, potentially an objective in the tower. All Westor does is just sacrifice one more kill to that Tahm Kench here. Really solid play here by Bang & Wolf. Good synergy already. Kalista, Tahm Kench, you can see why it's such an important lane if they can close the gap on you.
We saw Origin yesterday do the Kalista Tahm Kench combo.
Yep.
Somebody alive and pull them back with that Fate's Call. Bengi's going to be a bit cheeky to take these Krugs. There was no vision on him. And AHQ none the wiser, losing one of their camps.
But lagging a little bit behind in vision here. We haven't seen those side stones coming out from the junglers yet. So there's not actually anything you can really take right there. The control really hasn't been grasped yet by either of these teams.
And then the problem lies here again, reactive play. Reactive Destiny from Westor instead of a proactive play where you really want to set up that gank and you play with incomplete information, then you need to play with respect. If you don't, then you find yourself in situations where you lose your one global, your ticket to a kill, and then SKT picks up another dragon.
Easily secured on Albus and Ziv. They're looking for Marin, but they will not go for the dive. There's actually deep vision for AHQ all the way through the jungle and the lane in the top half, the top quadrant that they decide against.
And they're just working with the deep vision they have on the bottom right side of the map. That's why you see Marin go back. At the start, people got cross-mapped very often. Origin for a team actually got cross-mapped sometimes. FLICKR wants to go in, card goes down, and he pops Westor.
Will not be able to find the overload connect as it hits a minion. And that means Westor is forced to flash defensively.
You have to be so careful about that. You can't make those kind of errors. He saw Pawn die in a very similar way. You know FLICKR's not going to take a moment to really pull the trigger on that flash and go after you. And not having a flash on Westor is very consequential because of the single target CC on SKTelecom. It makes him so vulnerable. That is one of the keys to this mid lane. We're talking about Renekton, Rise, Tahm Kench. He has to have that flash up or he's a dead man walking.
Yeah. Now, the onus is, it's all on Albus right now to pull him out with Lantern if he gets aggressed upon. You can really see the trigger for FLICKR right there. Card comes out, instant flash right off.
Westor will have the support of Albus's Lantern, but nobody from SKT is going to look for aggression there. Instead, they're grouping up to look for vision. AHQ have a momentary numbers advantage. Flash over the wall from Bengi, instantly gets devoured by Wolf.
And another Destiny.
Yeah, and you have to, SKT, they see just Gragas getting caught out right there, and they take no risks. Flash over, go straight into Tahm Kench, run away, and that denies any follow-up by AHQ. They put themselves in a risky situation, but they instantly back out.
Tongue lash onto Arn. Wolf with Bang, or Bengi rather, just behind him. Bang is down in the bottom lane. The teleport's coming in here. Let's take a look what AHQ can do. FLICKR is charging up that passive and expended the TP. Deep vision gained, but not a lot more, but it does allow them to loop around, do the same play again, and punish AHQ in the future.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest TP, obviously. It was a reaction to Wolf getting hooked, but they still have the pressure. They get more wards down there. They're able to push up to the tier 2 and start to get some damage down onto that mid lane turret. So the TP is expended, but they are getting something for it.
Yeah, the main matchup here that is really faltering for HQ is Westor against FLICKR. 0 proactive TPs, 0 proactive Destinies, 2 for 2 used. SKT force a fight when they're all relatively close to back each other up. Every time any member of SKT takes a risk, except Bang maybe facing a rush, there's already somebody ready to help him on the map. You see Bengi go in, he has backup. You see Wolf go in, Bengi backs him up. They're working as a team.
Yeah.
Doing it again.
Well, there's no real way for AHQ to get to this mid turret quickly, so they're going to take a lot of damage, may not actually lose it because SKT Siege isn't that great with the Rise Kalista, so they can't stick on it while the minion wave gets thinned out.
Luckily for SKT, There's a ward very deep in AHQ's jungle. Mountain's trying to clear out what he can. And with Marin having teleport available, he continues to push top. While Arn is pushing out the bottom lane. But again, SKT, they're just laying a SKT flag in AHQ's jungle every single time they push forward.
And unlike last game, now what we saw last game was that while SKT was dominating the bottom side of the map, we did see AHQ reciprocate by taking over the opposite side of the jungle. This game, there's virtually no wards on the top side for AHQ, so their counterplay options are severely limited right now because they literally have no information.
Yeah, and SKT doing a phenomenal job just shrinking the map, and Destiny just becomes worse and worse the harder the map shrinks overall, because you can't find an opening to a side lane where you can then 2v1. Even if he Destiny's in right now, there's always another member from SKT close enough.
And the reality of Twisted Fate is if you can't get deep wards in, if your team can't get deep wards in, when you start to want to combat the Dragon and the Baron, Destiny then has to be used just to see where the hell the enemy team is, and that becomes a major problem that you're using it for vision only.
And it brings 0 combat stats to that fight around Dragon, so you work, vision is your advantage and knowledge is power and all, but if you don't have any vision, you go down with, compare the ultimate from FLICKR to a Destiny and a Dragon fight, that alone spells out the entire way that fight's gonna play out.
Luckily for AHQ, this wave pushing bottom has brought a little bit of vision in the jungle. Unfortunately for AHQ, SKT have started to clear that out already. 1 minute and 20 seconds until this next Dragon spawns. SKT secured the first one, and FLICKR is just going to use that desperate power to shove the wave in as quickly as possible. Even going to get Westor to TP again, not proactively, defensively.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating for AHQ. Whenever they clear a pink ward, 2 more take its place. Hail ward drop.
Hail ward drop. I want one of those. I assume as a support player you'd love that item.
Yeah. Just double up every
whenever
time.
Whenever you lose one, your Sightstone just gets 2 wards back, right? Balanced.
Makes for very exciting games against WE.
Not difficult to deal with at all. So, AHQ, what have they done for the last minute? They shoved in the bottom wave, defended the mid tower, but it's very clear they want to make a play around this Dragon. It's just become a ward war for information.
SKT doesn't really need this Dragon. They've got number 1. They're scaling. Westor caught out a little bit.
Or maybe the other way around. Bengi, in fact, in a little bit of trouble. Albus has flash. Good explosive pass, but the satchel rather, will secure the kill. So numbers advantage to AHQ. Westor is low on mana. If a fight continues to break out, Ziv has arrived. Fate's Call now pulls the catfish in. A big tool to keep Wolf alive is no longer available, and AHQ may make a play for the Dragon.
AHQ did a really good job of pushing up all the lanes before that happened. SKT still around the side. Here comes the ult from Tahm Kench.
Let's take a look. Missile Voyage is going to bring him into territory, but SKT flash over the wall. Ziv will lose his life as AHQ secure Dragon. SKT may be able to get a tower out of the deal as well, so advantage SKT.
And that's what they do so well. Whenever they lose a member, they're still willing to look for an opening and immediately act on it. They don't hesitate. They don't fall back out of the area assuming everything is lost. SKT so good at finding these little picks whenever they could see the Dragon or a kill.
Well, and they don't need that Dragon either. With Dragon number 1, they have the scaling advantage in this game. FLICKR already has 2 kills. He's been up in CS this entire game, and he is scaling with the tier, with the Rod of Ages. So the fact that he is winning his lane right now, and that we're seeing approximate parity in gold, indeed SKT a little bit ahead. There's no Dragon snowball quickly here for AHQ. So this is a good situation for them to be in. There's no need to fight that Dragon, especially after Bengi gets picked off.
Safe, smart play from SKT. This time around, Westor does not have the same CS disadvantage that we saw from game 1, despite the fact that he's been flashless multiple times. The only problem is he spent all of his time on the back foot defending his farm, and now Westor may get caught out. He's in so much trouble.
Bengi has been pinged out, but there's no play left for Westor to get out of here.
No, there is not. The barrel comes out from Bengi. A body slam is going to be enough. The kill will get secured by Bengi. 2 assists for SKT.
Yeah, Bengi doesn't go in with the body slam either, because that is the only way that Westor can get out, flashing over the body slam. So he just holds, waits for force flash, then chases with body slam. Luckily, Kench was waiting too. Here's FLICKR though.
Gentlemen, there's a fight on 2 fronts because Arn's in trouble down bottom. Ziv's caught out in the middle. Here comes Bang with the red buff. Fate's Call holds Ziv in place. Arn gets away alive, but Ziv cannot say the same.
Yeah. Bang says, licky tongue, I choose you. Now faces Steam Rocket in the mid lane.
Oh boy. Where is the Pokeball, the Pokemon Master Callista skin, Crepo?
He's waiting. That's right, it's gonna get that copyright anytime now.
Pretty sure that's gonna work out.
Please?
SKT, 6 kills to 3. They've got a 3,000 gold lead, a tower advantage, even on Dragons, and content to play the scaling game. There's Ziv getting caught once more.
Yeah, body slam flash. Bengi, so far in this game, has been doing a lot of body slams, but not flashing after, just to force enemies flash. This time he really wants to commit to Ziv. Perfect combo, and you can see how hard it is for Ziv to get out of there. He's so confused that he actually flashes into the wall too, adding some insult to injury.
Well, he wasn't even that far out either. It's hard to... He was playing on the far side of the lane, away from Bengi, where he knew Bengi was. He wasn't that far out from the turret, and he didn't know that Bang was running down the mid lane right there. So very well executed play, but you have to hit that flash body slam and then straight into the ultimate. So he wasn't even playing dangerously in that situation. Just got outplayed on the map by SKT.
Seems to be the story of everybody that plays against SKT. Despite momentary glimpses of positive play from AHQ, just can't keep that up.
I mean, it's not only here at the World Championship, right? It's in Korea too. If we look at SKTelecom in the summer season, they were 17-1 in best of threes. And overall, in terms of games, so far, including the World Championship games, they are 44-6 since their loss at MSI.
That's like an 88% win rate. Or 50.
Insane.
Impressive, did that on the fly. SKT will pull the Baron. Fate's Call is available. Wolf wants to look at the knock-up and will not get an acquired taste for On. They need to back away. As Wolf continues to play aggressive. SKT completely in control and daring AHQ, daring them to contest any objectives.
Walking into this Baron is a very dangerous thing for them, and they have so much single target damage. SKT, oh, there's a grab, but...
Yeah, Albus is following through! Bang is gonna get spat out, and the double TP comes down for SKT. FLICKR and Marin, they're looking for blood. Defensive flashes as Westdoor's arrive, and the Abyssal Voyage will deliver to Westdoor. Mountainsman split from the herd as Arn is in the river. FLICKR should get one more. Mountain gets away. Smites for a little heal. Westdoor killed by Marin. Arn's gonna try recall in the bushes, and it's just retreat, scatter, and pray for your lives. Arn will find Bang. Devour's available, and Wolf eats him, saving Bang.
No damage.
Spits him back out, and there's no damage. Crippo was right. The barrel bonk comes down, and Arn is out for the third of the fight.
I love how everybody is holding their breath. Is he gonna die?
Is it gonna happen?
No. No, because this is SKT, it doesn't happen.
Also, we did see a spider was squashed in the jungle. The corpse of Mountain unable to escape.
I just love that interaction where Tom Kench eats his AD carry, including the chain. He just keeps on hanging on there. And then it's support Cinder, right? It's like my mind's telling me no, but...
We've discussed this before. You don't fish for catfish with a hook. You noodle, you stick your arm in there, so Blitzcrank is the counter, not Thresh. Go in there.
Hang on, FLICKR again, part 2. Albus learned his lesson right now on SKT. This Baron's going low.
This is close. SKT secure Baron, but Ziv is the sacrificial lamb. He gets taken out. Westall left for dead. Double kill to FLICKR. And it looked scary for a brief moment. And gentlemen, start your clocks. The 3-minute timer to Nexus defeat is on.
Take a look at what happened here, and that's not how you fish for catfish, so here's the problem. Tries to reel him in.
He is fishing for a Callista, though. He gets an involuntary catfish, which is the worst type of catfish.
The involuntary catfish is the most deadly, is that right? This is a chase down from here. Great Abyssal Voyage to set this up. Get the exhaust down afterwards, even though he gets hit by the gold card. Flash W from Marin. And that's all she wrote for Westdoor. FLICKR, in the meantime, is going to find a rune prison.
And look at Bengi. Even if On could get away, Bengi's going to find him.
The Rise delivery system
is going to work perfectly, and FLICKR goes 5-0. That Baron was secured around 22 minutes into the game. It is one of their earliest.
Yeah, but all banter aside, you just see the power here from that pick here on Wolf, that Tom Kench just being able to deny any potential damage. It is essentially a zone S on his W, and you just move the target around too. It's impossible to focus him down. Now Bengi, he's feeling
Is there enough damage? Westor's got the red card primed. Wolf will say nope and waddles to victory.
I mean, there's always a chance of Fate's calling there too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You can
save
reposition
two people at the same time. It's kind of ridiculous.
SKT are pulling it off exquisitely. Dragon soloed by FLICKR, their second of the game.
If you buy in a top lane Tom Kench with Kalista and you play Thresh support, there is a really interesting chain that you can do. It's like cross country on steroids. You get from fountain to fountain in like under.
It's a terrifying thought, Crepo.
Clock's running out though.
I'm sure somebody on YouTube has done it. AHQ committing everything to Marin, and it's the dunk from Ziv that gets the kill, but how much of their base will they lose? Fate's Call throws onto Mountain. Wolf will devour him shortly. Rappel goes up into the air, and he should get... No! The Lantern pulls him away! Mountain stays alive, and the inner mid lane turret will then get killed. Bang will look to Albus as he's knocked back by the explosive cast. Another tower falls in the bottom lane by minions. So yes, you killed Marin, but hashtag not worth. FLICKR gets apprehended backwards, only to murder Ziv, take down Westor, and break open the base. SKT are looking for minions.
FLICKR is being put in positions for kills by both his teammate and his enemies. First time Kench spits him out, now Darius apprehends him. He's like, well, I guess I'm here. I can kill two guys and take the tower.
And find Mountain under that turret. FLICKR just going ahead and face tanking it. And there's he going to go down. Bang with the kill.
Another kill secured. SKT have got an inhibitor from this Baron power play. They may not be able to finish by the time it wears out.
Oh, it's done.
Because it has done, has completed, and Wolf will escape with Bang. Unable to block that damage, but what an exceptional play. 25 minutes in, 10,000 gold lead. And Super's in the mid lane?
It's been fun.
I can tell, Monte Cristo. But it really is a beauty to watch, just how great SKT play the map, play the skirmishes. Every call seems the right one.
I just feel so bad for Albus. It is already hard to land death sentences. Land them on Korean players is even harder. Flashing and then landing them on Korean players is even harder. When you do that, you really should be rewarded with a kill, and then Tom Kench is like, oh. Nope.
Total denial there, and
FLICKR teleporting into the base.
hello.
And the Abyssal Voyage.
Oh my.
Albus is in so much trouble. Westor will get a gold card into FLICKR, only to lose his entire HP bar. Exhaust will hold Albus in place for a while longer as Wolf looks to single him out. Gets the Devour, will regurgitate into Bengi's waiting hands. Body slam comes over the wall. And Fate's Core pulls him back out. Another knockup can come out here from Bang and Wolf. They decide not to go under the tower, instead playing it safe and going top.
Noah's gonna be mad. You don't interfere with supportal combat.
You have to do the one-on-one.
Just watch them.
They're just going to transfer right into this top side right now. Marin pushing the wave forward. So some very aggressive teleport / Tom Kench ultimate plays right there. Nearly get a kill, or do get a kill rather, and then moving down and finishing off another inhibitor.
And with super minions in the base, SKT look to secure another Nexus. Ziv is being focused, and despite the death sentence, finding Wolf, the rest of SKT are destroying the turrets. Bang is hunting for Westor. They're going way deep. An auto attack plus flash secures it, and SKT peel backwards. Body slam will find AHQ, but they're on the defensive. Everybody is being killed, even under the fountain. SKT are one game away from a semi-final placement and a battle against Origin.
Well, another solid win for SKT. They really amped it up that time. Much cleaner play after the warm-up. They get the rise once again. Even though they were starting on that red side and we had so many bans coming out from AHQ, they let it through. And FLICKR really delivers, gets absolutely huge on that champion.
And when is SKT actually going to lose a game at this World Championship?
I don't know.
Maybe never, according to most. In terms of this particular match, though, the lane swap for AHQ helped hide Ziv a little bit. Marin did not have that same level of dominance that he did the last time renekton into Darius. But it didn't matter because FLICKR just got so far ahead on Rise so early.
Well, that's the thing about SKT, right? someone else steps up. We've seen what happens in the group stage when FLICKR is focused down early. Marin gets massive. He's the one who's carrying the game. If everything doesn't go to plan, if they don't get that Renekton Darius 1v1 and start snowballing early, well, Ryze is there in the mid lane. Again, the insurance policy, he gets big, the game is over.
Also, AHQ is simply not playing to their strengths. They're running a double teleport composition with a TF ultimate. That is triple global, and they're just not utilizing it to make any proactive picks here overall on the map. So the first two Destinies both were reactive. Once with full vision, he actually still ported in and died to a 2v2 there. Really well played, obviously, by Bang and Wolf, but you have to question Westor in terms of champion picks and the way he's utilizing him. If he wants to go full-on Assassin, pick Ignite, try and 1v1 FLICKR. Many have tried, many have fallen, but at least you did something.
There's only one chance left, potentially. And if AHQ want to stand a chance, they have to pull off a magnificent reverse sweep to break down the 2-0 that SKT have earned this series. We're going to head over to the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. They hit it there. The sentiment that a lot of people have, when is SKT going to lose a game this World's Championship, if ever? We'll find out, because they didn't lose that one. And they came out in somewhat more dominating fashion this time around. Monty said it looked cleaner, felt a little bit cleaner across the board. Again, although the CS differential wasn't there in the mid lane, FLICKR just dominating scoreline and on that rise too.
Yeah, in the whole tournament, SKT's drafts have been great. And some other teams have drafts that we can question, like, you know what, I'm not really feeling the champions. I'm not understanding why that is. But for SKT, their drafts are so good because the champions are all extremely synergistic within each other. So in this composition where they have the Renekton, Gragas, Ryze, Kalista, Tahm, all of these champions are very good at skirmishing within the same range. So all their dashes, all their spells are usually within that 500 to 600 range, which really fits into the skirmish style composition that they've been trying to run in this entire series. And that's what really makes a great comp, when the team effort and the teamwork that you do fits the champions, and that's why they're playing so well. You see them move as a unit. The champions allow them to play as a unit, and it's just great. It's exciting to watch.
That's the style that SKT really excels at, that skirmish type. And not only are they accomplishing that here with these picks and bans, but they're also countering a lot of the strategies from their enemies here. They have Elise, Twisted Fate, and Thresh on the other team. 3 single-target pick champions, and then Tahm comes out for SKT. I absolutely love this champion here for Wolf. Wolf was a guy that at MSI, everybody's afterwards, they're kind of watching him. He was under the microscope because of his performance, and he's gotten better and better over time. And I love adding Tahm to his repertoire here, because that makes it so that he has this champion that not only is, like, he's usually playing Alistar and Braum. He's usually on some type of engage, and now he's gone full disengage, full run around the map, help his team out, stop them from getting picked, and that even just increases their skirmish power even more when you can't kill the guy.
This is actually what I love about the team. You can see them on the screen there. They're listening to their coach. They are so calm in their demeanor, and they're honestly like a boulder. Like game one, you like get it rolling, and then as they pick up speed, they just look completely unstoppable, and they start crushing people literally. The one weakness of SKT going into MSI was that you could rush them. You could make them fight before they wanted to fight. You could get little snowbally leads. AHQ was doing it. Fnatic did it one game. EDG actually won the series pretty much by rushing SKT. They are the best early game team fighting team I have ever seen. They win every single 2v2, 3v3, 5v5. Hell, they even win from deficits a lot of the time because of the way they set up every fight. Their vision control just completely sets everything up. They know when a fight is going to happen before you know you're going to pick a fight with them.
Yeah. You know what else they win? 2v4 tower damage in the bot lane. Right?
Oh my God.
That outplay there and the presence of mind to make the play that Marin made in the bot lane.
The thing I love about this, though, is Marin, he's setting himself up for success before this even happens. He's in the mindset that they could dive me here in this lane swap because of the way things are positioning on the map. I'm going to shove the wave out so it pushes back towards me, and that he's ready. He has a level advantage. He's level 4. People coming in on him right now, level 3s, level 2s. He's got this advantage. He has all his spells. He's ready to go. But this is so telegraphed. The TP came through. They're a little late because the wave got bounced off of this turret slightly. And then he just goes full in, and they have to go by FLICKR, who has the TP in the mid lane, and he catches Ziv under the turret. There was a lantern there available for Ziv to click it and get there. But, oh man, the 2v4 turret dive sets him up for success there. And when you give that early kill over to a Ryze, that mid lane is just, it's hell on.
That's my problem with AHQ's game, that they're going into these picking champions that have counters, so they know that SKT is going to counter your Darius. You're not going to get this matchup without a counter pick into it. And then they go for the lane swap. Like, you're not going to beat this team in the macro level. You're getting it outplayed. You got to play game 1. You got to outplay game 2. Stop going for this game. And if you're going to rush, you need to have a more aggressive approach and unpredictability. Because in a 2v2 lane, the jungler has a lot of room for actually just ganking anywhere. But in a lane swap, it's very obvious where the junglers will go, where the top laners will go, where the support's not so much. But if AHQ really wants to have a chance at least showing something, you need to play to that chaotic style thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think they've actually lost a little bit. I don't know if it's because we've seen more of AHQ and that there's a big microscope on the LMS region as a whole to perform, but when we used to see this team, they would like skirmish you to death. They would do these really unpredictable fights. This time around, what really sold it to me wasn't the turret dive, it was actually when they face-checked the brush with Elise before the TF ult was ready. AHQ at MSI, that would have been so synchronized and on point, and they would have torn you apart from that stage. Instead, Westor falls even further behind in lane. He's already got a lot of kill pressure against him because Ryze has wave clear engaged, like everything in a mid laner at the moment, and it's just like kind of starting to fall apart.
Well, SKT are just one game away from locking in their spot in the semifinals. We'll see if AHQ can keep this series alive in Game 3. Don't go anywhere.
We're loading up onto the Rift for Game 2 of this best of 5. Bang gets caught by a cocoon and the Flay holds Marin in place. Art is going low. Marin will not be able to get the kill. Will find Bang. Devour's available and Wolf eats him. Saving Bang.
No damage.
Spits him back out and there's no damage. But hashtag not worth. FLICKR gets apprehended backwards, only to murder Ziv, take down Westor. SKT are one game away from a semi-final placement